Hi, everybody, and welcome to Unmuzzled, a podcast. I am your host, Sarah Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. I love business owners because once I got out of corporate America and I started my own business after already starting a nonprofit, I realize how similar I am to these business owners, and I just love picking their brain. It's the best. Gabby the Groomer is coming right up, presenting sponsors. You're up. Thank you so much to our presenting sponsors. Canine Cruise is the place to take your pet. They offer dog and cat boarding, dog daycare, pet retail, and mindful day school. Tons of indoor space with a huge yard. Canine Cruise is your one-stop shop for professional pet care in Chicago. Kiki's Corner Natural Pet Foods in downtown Winfield, just a block south of CDH Hospital on the railroad tracks. Kiki's has all your food and health aid needs for dogs and cats. Kiki's Corner for a healthy, happy pet. Speaking of small businesses, Kiki's Corner, I'm going there tomorrow. This will be a little bit dated because this will air later, but I'm so excited to visit my friend Ginger with Mabel, my 2-pound Chihuahua. Anyway, Gabby, without further ado, okay. So, once we get the dog in the shot, people watch. So you must know, Gabby, this is like science right here.
That's how I get them. Say hi, Iris.
Iris, oh, tell us about her.
I've had Iris for 6 years. I actually am really into Rottweilers. That's the whole logo for my business. That's my cult breed, but I only believe for myself personally in rescue. That's not to say I'm not for ethical breeding, but if I can rescue a breed, I'm going to do so. I drove 2 hours away from home to a kill shelter that had an ad of a Rottweiler saying, being put down on this date. And well, that was the next day and they weren't answering. So I dropped everything, drove 2 hours to rescue this Rottweiler. And they were like, oh, sorry, it just got a home. And I was like, well, while I'm here, what do you got? And this little 2.5-pound pup full of worms and Giardia came home with me. Oh. And now she's my bestie.
Oh, that's so sweet. Iris, you're adorable. Worth the drive, right? Even though it was kind of a bait and switch.
Right? That's okay. Cool. I still have my Roddy too.
Okay, good. That's good. So yeah, how many pets do you have?
Right now I have Iris, and then I have my newest Roddy, Rhea. I rescued her from Rare. That's a local rural animal rescue here in Tennessee. They do a lot of big busts on hoarding cases, backyard breeding. So Rhea lived in a cage her whole first year of life. For a year and a half, was bred twice. And she got jealous of her sister. So she's right here. She'll say hello really quick.
Oh, yeah. Wow, she's big.
She's a big girl.
Oh my God, I love her.
She's the predecessor to my first Roddy, Gaia, who is the reason for the season, the logo of my business.
Yeah.
She was rescued from Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico. She was wandering a beach when they found her. So.
Oh, good stories with all those pets. I love that so much. You're a good human, I can tell. And by the way, so the reason that I know Gabby is because Gabby comes to Roo Fest and she's the vendor there. So I swung by this year and I said, I would love to have you on the podcast. I really have not had a groomer on the podcast for the second iteration of the podcast. At least I did have Emily on from when the podcast was called Raise the Wolf. So it's really nice to have you, Gabby. I always start with kind of, did you grow up with dogs? Did you grow up with pets? Did you take in, like for me, I grew up with all kinds of different pets and we took in all the strays. So tell me about growing up and how you got here.
Oh, I love this part, but I could also probably write a whole autobiography on it. I've been talking since I can remember and talking about animals since I can remember. When I was little, I used to pretend to be a dog. I didn't have dolls or Barbies. I had plastic animals and stuffed animals. Zaboomafoo was my favorite show. I actually have an entire animal sleeve on one arm and 6 or 7 other dog tattoos, pet grooming tattoos. So, and distracting dogs. But yes, I've been obsessed with animals since I can remember. I had my first pet at 4. I've had guinea pigs, snakes, cats, you name it. I was into it. I wanted to be a marine biologist for a long time, and I actually tested out of high school early and went to school for what I thought would be marine bio, and then I got into animal science and animal behavior and decided to try and make a career out of that. But yeah, so that is kind of my story of that. I thought I was going to be a marine biologist, and once I realized I couldn't really make any money unless I wanted to be a professor. I was like, okay, what can I do that makes a difference that, will pay my bills? I've been living on my own since I was 16. I lived in my car for a while. I've been the only person financially responsible for me for as long as I can remember. So I really had that scrappy work 3 or 4 jobs, 80 hours a week attitude. And now I'm here and I'm not even 30 yet. So I'm really grateful for the crazy path I've taken full of animals to get here.
I mean, that is amazing. And, I was similar. I'm 50, so I'm much older than you. But when I was younger, I just started working before it was like even legal, on the side. I did things like under the table. I feel like back then it was fine. But I also tried a lot of different jobs. I mean, I worked on a farm. I picked watermelons. I grew up in Pennsylvania in the middle of nowhere. So, and then I ended up waitressing. But I feel like when you get to be on your own, and for you it was a lot younger, but you kind of want to figure out, okay, what do I want to do? And sometimes you take that left turn, and I have so much respect for that, because you were focusing on one thing, and then decided, okay, well, this seems to be a better path. And I don't fault people at all for not going to college if they know what they want to do. So many times we're oh, let's push this person into college. You have to go to a 4-year school. Why wouldn't you want to make money right now doing something that you love and you're good at, right?
I say that all the time. That just hits so close to home, because I got in full academic scholarship to anywhere I wanted to go, and I only did the 2 years. And I even now with my successful business, beat myself up for not reaching my academic potential, because, who knows where I could have taken it. But I don't have college debt, and I'm doing what I love. And I don't think a lot of people can say at 29 they've had a career for 10 years. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, you don't have to fit that box. It's part of the white picket fence. Here's what you have to do. Here's what you have to be. And I am always, straying from the norm any way I can.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So for you, I mean, honestly, starting that young and building this business, can you kind of look back and see how proud you are of what you have built it into? Is that hard to do, or is it just because I know it's a grind every day just to get through each day? But can you ever appreciate where you came from?
I have a lot of moments of gratitude, and I think that's the only thing that gets me through is having the mindfulness of the very stereotypical phrase of little you would be so proud, or even you 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, you have everything that you've been hoping for, and that kind of keeps me grounded. In the moments of overwhelm, I think pride is a hard one, because I do still have a lot of imposter syndrome, but I really do get to be grateful and I guess proud of myself for doing what I believe in and being able to work for a cause that I believe in, create a safe space for other employees. So yeah, I oscillate between am I doing this right? Should I be doing this to, this is pretty cool. It just depends on the day and the hour.
Yeah, that imposter syndrome, I feel that. I just, we put a pet pantry under Live Like Rue to help people that have lost, some of their grocery benefits, to help keep their animals with them so they don't have to surrender them, which is so important. But I'm now should I be doing this? Is this right? Even at this moment and this age, I still have that. Am I running this foundation properly? Am I doing pet care business the right way? It is a real thing. And I hate to say this, but I do think women, it really bothers them more. They think about it more, because they always want to be doing the right thing, and doing it well, which is a thing, because it also drives you, but it can drive you crazy too. So I get that. I really do feel that.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I can confidently say that I am, confident in my ability as a pet groomer and my love and care for animals and the animal background over it. But as my business has grown so quickly, I've gone from 2 employees to 12 to 14 so fast. And now that I'm having to do the backtracking of learning how to support it, I can have the best intentions for everything, but I still have to kind of backtrack and make sure that I'm doing everything, in a way that I don't always have the tools for. So I've just, recently made a big handbook. I have business consultants now, and expensive accountants and lawyers, and I'm hiring managers. Like all that stuff normally gets to like build as the business grows, but we just exploded so fast that there's things I'm backtracking on, which again, I'll be hard on myself, or am I doing this right or to the best of my ability right now? But got to give myself some grace sometimes. You should too.
Yeah, for sure. And I think when you're getting into it, you don't realize. I mean, even in the nonprofit world, if I knew now what I knew then, what I know now, I always tell people this, I don't know if I would have done it. I mean, it is intense. I mean, and what people don't see in the background, like you just talked about, it is so much work to keep on. And then you look at the government and just how things are like thrown around, and you're just like, why am I being targeted? I'm just trying to help people.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Between like existential level and then just the things on your own plate, it's like between the employees' plates are also your plate. The economy, just there's so many things that you have to balance, and hits you have to take, and like hats you have to wear. And a lot of people see a successful business and like, oh wow, you must be like so happy you work for yourself, like that's so chill. And I'm like, yeah, I work for myself, which is like triple the work with like sometimes half the return, but you don't get to go home and clock out. I'm up falling asleep on my laptop every night, or I'm waking up in the middle of the night and writing down ideas, or my phone has 13 reminders beeping at me at the same time. And I wouldn't want it any other way, but it's taken me a lot of work on myself to be able to handle it. And even most days I feel like I could handle it better, but it's all a process, and I'm just hoping, over time it'll get easier, and continue to find more resources that work for me and can help.
Yeah, it has to. I mean, good karma, right?
Yeah.
I'm the queen of emailing myself. So I'll go to my email in the morning and I'll have emails for myself. That's what I do. I'm like, that's like my email is my to-do list. So tell us about the business, because, you just told us that it exploded, and there were some reasons for that. I think grooming is amazing. It's an art. You're obviously like a creative person. It's probably like why you got into this and why you because every day I'm sure is different. But tell us how the business exploded and what your day-to-day is like.
Oh, the business actually coming to fruition is a really unique story. So, and it just continues to happen in a way that I would have expected, which goes back to like my entire thought process of like whatever's meant to happen is going to happen, because I could never have predicted it. Coming to this point, I was working at a vet hospital. I had my own deal there. Everyone was great. I loved my clients, and it got bought out by corporate. My boss was like, hey, so we just got 2 weeks notice that we're not going to have anywhere for you to work for 6 months. We're so sorry. You can try and groom dogs in this utility closet, though. So I'm grooming in a space like this big with 12 to 13 dogs a day, just me and an assistant, tripping the power, slipping and falling on the floor because there's no drains and we're bathing dogs in the sink. It was a nightmare. And so there was somewhere that I would take my dogs to daycare, and the owners kept asking me if I wanted to work for them. And I said, no, I work for myself. And one day I said, hey, so I don't want to work for you, but do you want to like help me work for myself? They're like, yeah, well, we have this van. Like we just bought it thinking we could use it one day. Do you want to check it out? So I check out the van, and we strike a deal where it's my business fully. They are silent investors. And it was a 50-50 split where I did all the work and they were, a credit card or a resource for technical, mechanical things. And I got to keep all my clients from my old job, which is not normal for the industry, but they felt so bad and I had done right by them. So I started with a book of like 500 clients. I took one of my assistants with me. I ended up teaching her to groom. She did a lot of the work herself as well because she was so passionate about it, for taking classes and buying good equipment. So then we grew to 2 vans, and 2 years ago at this point, so 2 years ago in November, one of my mobile clients came up to me and said, hey, would you ever do a storefront? And I said, yeah, it's in my 5-year plan. Like, we'll see. And she said, well, what if I have a property that's 5 minutes down the road from your house and you can do anything you want with it, and we'll give you 4 months off the rent? And I was like, okay. So 1, was never expecting to start a business. 2, never thought a storefront would be, something that I could handle. And then the next thing you know, I'm grooming 10 dogs a day in my van 6 days a week and going to renovate this new shop space until 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning for 4 months. I took out a loan. At this point, I had bought out my investors. I bought them out a year and a half, 2 years into the business. This is like a year after that. So I'm 100% on my own independent LLC. I have 3 or 4 employees at this point, and I opened the storefront last March, and ever since then it's just been going and going and going. We have 2,700 active clients, and I have 12 or 13 employees right now. Happy to take a beat, and then I can kind of get into more of the specifics, because I feel like that was really long-winded, but it's definitely not just like I really wanted to start a business and I saved up and I planned and I took, like, no, it just fell into my lap every time.
I mean, amazing. And the fact that you have 2,700 clients.
Yeah.
I mean, so you still do mobile too?
Yeah, there's 3 vans and the storefront.
Wow.
So it's a lot.
Wow. I mean, just amazing. And, I had the Movement Lounge, Alex, is that her name? Alexis, or I had her on the other day just talking about the Nashville dog community and the pet community and how amazing it is. And, all of the vendors are friends, but like people there really, really care about their pets. So if you open a pet-centric business there, it's pretty difficult not to be successful, right?
Yeah, that's kind of like our bread and butter, and like our target clients is just like, you want your pet to have the best of the best, come to us. We have it in every facet, and we'll show you why. For your point of saying if you have a pet business, it's successful, I agree with that. I think that anyone that morally truly cares for the pets in the way that I do, and my staff and my other colleagues in the industry, they will be successful. But I'm going to get on my little like tangent about the grooming industry for a second, if you want me to speak on that. Just for people that don't know, this is really important for any pet owner to know that gets your pet groomed. There is no legislation, licensing, anything legally required to be a pet groomer anywhere in the country, to the point where you can pick up a pair of kitchen shears and open a grooming business. There's places in Nashville where the owners of the businesses will come to your house and groom a dog on the floor, and they have like open animal neglect cases because people think it's just a quick money grab, and you can say whatever you want. So when looking for a groomer, it's really important to ask how long they've been doing it, where they learned. There's many, many levels of accreditations you can have. The AKC can certify you, the National Pet Grooming Association. You can compete all over the country, take seminars, but because there's no legal protection or licensing at all, you really, really can run the gamut as far as safety, care, talent, education. And that's why we market ourselves and are super, straightforward about the skills we possess, because 1, that's why we're able to charge more, and 2, that's why everyone typically has a really great experience with us, and other people like us are successful because we are actually industry professionals. But it's a huge like red flag asterisk everywhere. Listen to me, like, make sure you're researching your groomer first, because it's super important, and a lot of awful things can happen if you're going to someone that doesn't know what they're doing, and it happens pretty often, unfortunately.
I mean, and just think about the insurance aspect, like that, like you should be able to see, here's our insurance,
Yep. Yeah.
And it's similar to pet care. I have obviously neighborhood pages. Somebody will say, hey, I need dog walks Monday through Friday. And, like I'll say, check Sarah to the rescue. And I'll even say in the post, like, if you don't choose me, just make sure the person's insured. I also send my certificate to everybody. But there are high school kids walking dogs, and we can talk about Rover to no end and what that is a mess. But it is so true. Like, you are so right. And that is scary as hell to think that there is nothing stopping anyone from being a groomer. That's crazy.
Nothing. And even these big corporate companies, there's a lot, I'm not going to name names, but there's a lot of corporations. There's a lot of mobile corporations that are like nationwide or, regional, and they will hire anyone off the street to groom. So they look pretty. They have great graphics. They have a great website. They charge up the butt, but they just hire anyone. And, in Nashville, there's been all around, there's been dogs getting the tips of their ears cut off, their tails, like accidents that shouldn't happen. Accidents very well happen, but just from owners that don't groom dogs of businesses seeing it as a cash grab, just hiring whoever can do it. So I'm always advocating for like finding somewhere that's safe and advocates for the needs and priority of the pets, because there's so many things that go into it that people don't consider. I mean, the equipment you have to know, the science behind their coats, all the different breed standards. Like when I was in grooming school, I had to do 2 weeks of just book work just before I was allowed to touch a dog, you know.
Wow.
But that's just me, like, especially like in a platform like this where I don't like to say it locally as much because I don't want to seem like I'm trying to take business from other people, because that's not it. I just so passionately want every dog to be safe and happy and have a positive experience. Our tagline is literally unleash positive vibes. So
yeah, which is a good animal person. I mean, the last thing you want is an animal to be hurt because somebody took a shortcut or wanted to pay less. Same with pet care. If you do I charge more? Yes, but like you're getting what you pay for. You know, if you want to pay that dude $15 to walk your dog, that's fine. You know, if you want the dog to be safe and secure and insured and walked properly, like it's the same exact thing. And yeah, I mean, I think that anybody that cares, you know, any good pet owner will listen to you when you're on your soapbox. Same with me on these pet care sites. I mean, it is a shame that there are no regulations. It's like asinine to me. Wow, that's crazy. So I know you probably get this question a lot because I love looking at your pages and looking at like these crazy grooms and like the colors and like the cool mohawks and the trims. Is that part of it kind of fun?
Oh yeah, that's like one of my favorite parts outside of my hippie emotional aspect of just loving the connection with the dogs and creating a safe space for them. Like the creativity part is my favorite. I'm never really been like good at certain kinds of art. Like I couldn't draw you a giraffe, but I can paint the heck out of a dog. I can carve some shapes in a dog. I mean, my grooming has brought me to all kinds of fun adventures. I've turned dogs into skeletons, leopards. A lot of my team and myself add pops of color wherever we can on our pets. We do color at pop-up events. We'll do like airbrushing. Grooming has even brought me to TV. I had the honor and pleasure of grooming all of the pets on the runway show for Dolly Parton's Pet Gala on Paramount. I think you can still find it. I don't know if you can see me, but I was the one backstage brushing and trimming and hairspraying all the dogs for this recorded TV special, and that was one of the coolest things my career has brought me to. But yeah, I really love finding any avenues to stand out any way I can. The queer community in Nashville has really done a lot for me as far as bringing me to really fun events, getting to display, you know, creativity, rainbow color, dogs that have parents that want to do fun things with them.
I love that. That's amazing. Like seriously, I think too, that's how you get people attracted to you. You know, I think you've had a few of them go viral, and people then will follow you. And in Nashville, then they'll be, you know, wanting to have that for their own dog. I love that. If you want to come to the Live Like Rue birthday party, it's on April 19th. So maybe we could do something
in Nashville.
It's in Chicago.
Oh, maybe I'll go to Chicago for my birthday again. I actually went to Chicago. My birthday is the 22nd, and I was in Chicago last year for my birthday. I went to Alenia for dinner and Boys Town, went to some drag shows, Wrigleyville. So yeah, maybe I'll just make it a birthday tradition and I'll come back.
Yeah, yeah, you're invited. We're having pet-centric vendors. So the birthday party is all centered around dogs. Obviously, their humans will be there, but that'd be awesome to have you for sure.
Cool.
Last thing I always ask, like these small business owners, and obviously like you're a perfect person to ask, do you have advice? And, you know, I left corporate America, sports television, after studying it in college and having an internship before I graduated and like literally working my way up for 23 years. And then I just said, I can't do this anymore. And it was so scary. It was scary. But I'm in a place now where I have zero regrets. I'm making less than what I made when I moved here in 2004, but I'm happy. So do you have advice? Because your story is unique. It really is. For somebody that maybe wants to take this leap, you know, whether it is, I hate to say this, skipping college, which again, we talked about this in the beginning. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You talked about, you know, the grooming classes and getting certified and getting everything in order. But is there advice for somebody maybe that is stuck in corporate America or is young and looking for this career and this may be the path they want to take?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I have so many different pieces of advice that I would want to say. I don't want to get too hippie with it, but I am such a stick it to the man kind of person that I would just say follow your heart, your morals, your ethics. Don't conform to being a cog in a machine that doesn't value you, because as much as I don't always get things right being a business owner, I know at the end of the day I can sleep because I am somewhere that I'm valued and I treat people with value. And I would be doing myself a disservice if I spent, you spend most of your life at your job. If you're not doing something that you align with morally and ethically, it's always going to haunt you. So take whatever you can of where you want your life to be and what aligns with how you want to exist in the world, and take that into your career. And for a lot of people, unless it's a picture perfect situation, that's not going to be corporate America. And another thing that helps make it a little bit less scary in the transition, because there's been so many times that I've had the I don't think I can do this mindset, lean on your people. When you ask for help, or when you just listen for who's already willing to give it to you, swallowing your pride and taking it fills you with so much gratitude and takes you to where you need to go. It took me a long time to accept help, just being someone on my own for so long. And I still do struggle with it sometimes, but I could sit here for another hour and list the amazing people that have been part of getting me where I am today, all the way from being 15 and one of my clients at Chipotle giving me a blender for my first apartment because they wanted to pay it forward and they asked me to pay it forward one day, to now where, people will stay up at all hours of the night with me to do a new project at the shop, or drop everything to help me when a van breaks down, or just be a shoulder to cry on. So I think, stick with your morals and ethics and follow where that leads you, and lean on your people.
God damn, Gabby. That was a TED Talk for the ages. I mean, I was crying. I was literally crying at the beginning when you're like, I don't like to say stick it to the man, but stick it to the damn man, I was like literally had tears. I still do.
And this is all with no prep. You just kind of, I was like, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I guess I'm good under pressure.
Yeah, it gets deep on here, but people the people that listen to this podcast really appreciate people like you, and so do I. But it is so true. Like, being stuck in those goddamn HR classes, sexual harassment. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it is just bullshit. And they tell you like, oh, we don't know. It's anonymous. They track it with the number that you're putting in there. Your freaking stupid ID number. It's ridiculous.
And I always feel guilty when I feel like I'm not enough, and as far as traditional business standards, or having everything as perfectly organized and as legitimate as all these corporations that have more money. I don't have my vans wrapped. They have magnets on them because I can't afford a wrap right now, and I can't afford to have the vans off the road for a wrap. All these little things that make me feel less than. I always remind myself that even if I'm not perfect, even if things aren't as pretty and by the book as they should be, I'm doing my best, and I'm creating a safer space for people, and existing within what actually matters to me. And it doesn't matter what other people think. It matters the space that I'm creating and the energy that I'm giving to my people and to the dogs and to my clients. And that's why I've never really had to pay for advertising too, honestly. You do right by one person, and then it just grows and grows and grows. And I'm so grateful for that. And I think it really says a lot about, I guess I am going to have a moment of pride, myself and my character. And then, my team's character. I couldn't do any of this with the shop without them. People just have nothing but good things to say about how kind and lovely everyone is. So who cares if you don't have a $5,000 wrap on your van when every dog that leaves is happy and wants to walk back in the door,
Yeah, exactly. That's so true. And I love what you said about surrounding yourself with good people and people that are smarter and better than you. It took me years to learn that. I mean, years where I have in my head that I can always do things better than everybody else and I know the best. And that is not true. You have to surround yourself with people that are going to help you and might be smarter than you and might be able to see outside of this tunnel vision sometimes you have. And even running a foundation, obviously it's my heart and soul. It was my dog, but they see things that I don't see because I'm so stuck in, my email and helping people. So I love that too. And the fact that you're so young and have learned that, I think is great because it took me a while to let go.
Yeah. I've just been really, really lucky with surrounding myself with good people. I didn't always have the best close familial support. I have my aunts and my grandmas, and they're great, but leaning on people that were positive adult figures really meant a lot for me in my young adulthood. I want to do a special name shout out to one of my clients turned business mentors. Her name is Leanne, and she saw a lot in me. And we would just talk when I was at her house in my van grooming her dog. And she was such an integral part of me buying up my investors, creating my LLC, getting insured. She gave me hours upon hours upon hours of help and outlines and rubrics and crying phone calls out of the goodness of her heart because she wants to help women entrepreneurs. And it became a thing where she took me from that transition to buying on my LLC with 2 vans to being my actual paid advisor for helping me run $1 million business, you know?
Wow.
So it's really, there's so many people that have been like that along the way that did it for nothing other than to be a good person. And it's definitely really humbling and wonderful feeling.
Yeah, they obviously saw something in you and knew you were legit, you know, and authentic. I think that says a lot too. Like, people can read you, you know, and it's really important as a business owner to be like, I'm very transparent about things, and I can tell you are too. It's the hippie in you. Never apologize for being a hippie, by the way.
It makes me too emotional, man. I gotta reel it in sometimes.
I know. You have me crying. I can't remember the last time I cried on this podcast. Everybody, Gabby. So if you're watching, you'll see the banner. If not, you'll see in the description her Instagram, Gabby _the _groomer. Go check her out. I mean, I love following her because I just love to see what she does. I also love seeing colorful pets being groomed. But Gabby, you're like one of my all-time favorite podcast guests. How about that?
No way. I was so nervous for this. That's so sweet. Thank you.
You were amazing.
I just texted my friend. I was like, I don't know what I'm about to get into, but here we go. So thank you. That's an honor for you to say that.
Yeah, awesome. Gabby, everybody. Thank you, Gabby. We will talk to you again soon. Supporting sponsors, you're up. Thank you to our supporting sponsors. On the corner of Montrose and Troy in Chicago's Irving Park neighborhood, you'll find a hidden gem known as Templestowe Pub. They have a great selection of local draft beers, and the Malort is always flowing. Oh no. Join us for a charity bingo event or a tap takeover with a local brewery. Don't want to leave your dog at home? All good, bring them along. Whether you're throwing darts or playing a banger on the jukebox, you're guaranteed to have an awesome time. So head on over to 3135 West Montrose and look for the old style sign. The Canine PT is Chicago's highest rated dog physical therapy clinic, and they're dedicated to enhancing the lives of your 4-legged companions as they age or when recovering from an injury. Give the gift of pain relief to your furry friends. They also offer a discount for rescue dogs. For more information, visit thecanineft.com. Thank you, sponsors. Gabby also gets a title for one of my longest podcasts. So that means she was an excellent guest. I wasn't trying to kick her out early or anything. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.